The Witcher Season 2 kept teasing the word conjunction and spheres, and we finally learned why there was so much emphasis by the post-credit trailer of an entirely new show by Netflix called The Witcher Blood Origin. The conjunction is a vital part of the story, but the writers were really drilling it in. I had no idea a spin-off prequel was even in production, but after clicking around, found out it was initially announced all the way back in July 2020. The hype wasn't all that high, and even after this trailer, judging by the community's response, a lot of people are not interested in seeing this chunk of lore play out on screen. The trailer was obviously poorly executed. I thought it was a whole new lower budget show, but trailers are usually made by third parties, so way too soon to tear apart the show. The biggest concern is that this is not an adaptation of any of Andrzej Sapkowski's books. The Netflix Witcher show is good, and I love the second season, but the showrunner and writers have some of the best fantasy novels ever written to guide them, and it still wasn't a perfect adaptation. Blood Origin will have to take whatever hints left behind in the books of a long past era and expand it into a 6-part miniseries, which I think was a good decision. No reason to milk this unknown territory into a multi-season series. Keep it nice and confined. We're going back 1200 years to see how this conflict first arose between humans and elves. So while Geralt and Yennefer lead long-ass lives, they won't be anywhere near this series. But when I looked through the casting of characters, there was one very exciting name included in the group of the all-new created characters. It's Eredin. Is that a spoiler? I don't think so, right? Elves who have been here 2,000 years before humans have been brought to the brink of extinction in the current story because of human colonization on the continent. Their settlements and cities have been overtaken and now live as a second-class race, constantly oppressed. But elves weren't the first race on the continent. Most scenes in the trailer showed pointed-ear elves, but there were a couple of moments with dwarves. I don't know how deep in the Witcher lore the 6 episodes will go, but dwarves came to the continent around 3,000 to 4,000 years before the humans. And even they weren't the first humanoid race. That was the gnomes, who do look notably different than dwarves in this story. They're a little smaller, with larger ears and noses. Dwarves that we get to see in that dragon episode in the first season of The Witcher have more of a warrior culture, while gnomes are more known for their craftsmanship. When the dwarves arrived in the gnomes' land, together they figured out how to coexist peacefully. There was no invasion like in the case with humans. The elves who traveled here from another world through magical means are nature-loving, but did have a part in some colonizing. These 3 humanoid races are considered the Elder races. Showrunner for Blood Origin, Declan Dabara, came out and said during the interview with Entertainment Weekly, "I was just fascinated with the idea of what a pre-colonized world would look like for the elves." He then points to the original Witcher novels written by Polish author Andrzej Sapkowski. He reinterprets folktales and history Dabara mentions of Sapkowski's works. And when you look at our own history, societies that have been at their height, like the Roman Empire or the Mayan Empire, that'd be right before the fall. And then we're in Dark Ages again. That fascinated me to wonder what that world could have been, what society could have been like, and what elves wanted. That's what we're going to explore here. We're going to see in the prequel how exactly humans with their inferior skills overtook the elves and built over their cities. The elves' magic is powerful, and it's why we keep hearing mention of elder blood when talking about Ciri's powers in The Witcher. But their reproductive rates can't keep up with the humans. Humans didn't choose to come here like the elves, however. Multiple dimensions or universes had their unique species crossing over into the one we know in a magical cataclysm known as the conjunction of spheres. Humans weren't the only ones that mysteriously made it through from their world. Monsters from different universes invaded and caused havoc on the humans and elder races. This brought in a need for monster hunters. We know that early sorcerers experimented on younger boys to successfully create the first Witcher after many were killed in the process. Even now, only 1 in 10 survived the mutagens to become a yellow-eyed Witcher. The early sorcerers felt the Witchers they created were still failures because of their limited use of magic. When we see Geralt fight off insane monsters, he has to rely on his swordsmanship, elixirs, and signs, no magic. Blood Origin will also touch on this part of the lore, possibly trying to fill in gaps that even the original author has been quiet on. 2022 is the only release date given out by Netflix, so production is still a ways away from completion. I'll probably just make a community post here on YouTube when a concrete date is out, so that's all we know. Hope a next trailer gives us something better to look forward to. Anyways, thanks for watching guys, see y'all later.